Welcome, sadhakas. We are initiating ourselves to potentialize, to be of real help to our fellow beings under the grip of menace of blindness. For it, today we are going to be face to face with the last Vedic command. The first and even the last command is that to learn and to teach, to transcend ignorance. The command is to transcend ignorance. One is to learn it and one is to teach it. It is by learning we will be potentializing, and it is by teaching we will be performing our social responsibility. To come up to the expectations of this command, to be parallel with Vedic systems, let us begin learning and teaching the following 10 steps, which together are the steps of Shri Vidya Kshetra. The first is Om, second is Devnagri, third is Transcendental Code Value Dictionary, fourth is Vedic Ganita Sutras, fifth is Sthapatya geometric format, sixth is Vedic Mathematics, Science and Technology, seventh is Pursha format, eighth is Solar Universe format, ninth is Vedas, and 10th is Braham, eternity, Shri Vidya Kshetra. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of virtue to potentialize for real help to the fellow beings under the grip of menace of ignorance shall faithfully follow this command. The command is to transcend ignorance, and this command is to learn and also to teach. This with it takes us to Shri Vidya Kshetra. The 10 steps are Om, Devnagri, Divyanga Kosh, Ganita Sutra, Sthapatya, Ganit Vigyan Takniki, Pursha, Saurmandal, Ved and Braham. Therefore, let us today have a glimpse. The formulation Shri, it is of Transcendental Code Value 20, 7 plus 13. 7 is parallel to 7 versions of 3 space. 13 is parallel to 13 versions of 6 space. 3 space has 7 geometries range and 6 space has 13 geometries range. Reach from 3 space to 7 space is the ultimate, and of it the learning and service part is up to 6 space. From 3 space to 6 space is learning and teaching part, and 7 space is the existence, the life we have to live it. The formulation Shiv is the ultimate reach domain of Shri Vidya Kshetra, and the formulation Shri is a composition of 4 letters of Transcendental Code Values 2, 1, 4, 13, as is tabulated on the computer screen. The 10 folds of this formulation sequentially take us to the values 1, 1, 4, 13. For the first 4 folds of value 19, 19 and 93 for 5th and 6th folds, 49 and 72 for 7th and 8th folds, 105 and 233 to the 9th and 10th fold, total making it 580 folds, which is of the organization 58 into 10. 58 is 29 plus 29, which is parallel with Brahma. So it is self-interaction domain reach. Lord Brahma meditates within the cavity of his own heart and multiplies as 10 Brahmas in Shivlok. This transition and transformation from four spaces domain to four spaces boundary is the reach. And it is the reach of Shri. It is the reach of Shri Vidya. It is this domain to which we are to enter. So Shri Vidya takes us to this domain. Shri Vidya is the Vidya of transcendence of the ignorance. From the manifested creations of four space, we reach the transcendental domain of Lord Shiva. It is a reach from Brahma's domain to the Lord Shiva's domain, and it is to be learned, it is to be taught, and it is Shri Vidya, and it is the transcendence. This will take us to Shri Chakra, a formulation of total value 7 plus 6 is 13, parallel with 13 geometries of 6 space, 13 versions of hypercube 6. See, the Shri Chakra in a dynamic state is of transcendental code value 26. It is Kram Samapti. It is the end reach point. It is the limit point of any sequential progressions. The sequential progressions end reach is Shri Chakra in a dynamic state. Beyond that, the progression phenomenon no more holds. It takes to Shri in dynamic state, Chakra in a dynamic state of transcendental code value 39, which is the value of Maheshwar, transcendental Lord manifesting Shri Chakra within creator's space. And this transcendental manifestation within creator's space brings Maheshwar in a dynamic state, making the value 52, which is 23 multiplied by 4. It is this dynamic state of transcendental manifestation which takes to transcendence at the transcendental origin of the creator's space, and 23 multiplied by 5 becomes the value. And it is this value which ultimately within state makes it to be a transcendental domain, dimensional frame, solar dimensional frame, 5 solar dimensions of frame, and the value 75 is Ekadhikain Purvain. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with this reach of this transcendental phenomenon in manifested state within creator's space. Vedic mathematics is the mathematics of transcendence from ignorance. It is this transcendence from ignorance which is to be learned and which is to be taught. Therefore, we have to approach afresh. The first quadruple numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 lead to factors 5. This is a reach from number value 4 to number value 5. This is a reach of number value 45, and it is of the reach of number value 54. The organization of double-digit numbers or 10-place value system along the greater 9 cross 11 is at the formatting, manifesting base of this organization. And this organization will take us to summation values of numbers 1 to 9 as 45, which is parallel with the transcendental code value of Nav Brahm, and it is Brahmatma. And it is the split of a 9-space content, and 975 is equal to 28. All these values, all these features are the values and features of Shri Vidya Kshetra, and we have to learn it. We have to imbibe it. And it is by learning and imbibing of these features, we will be teaching these features. Therefore, sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge shall visit the summation value of numbers 1 to 7 as 28. Also visit the dimensional synthesis phenomenon of the dimensions of the same order, 7 in number, which will take 2 for the linear order as 7, for spatial order as 14, and the formulation sub leading to transcendental code value 14, which is parallel with the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 4 that creates the space. These features of Shri Vidya Kshetra are to be learned. These features and values of Shri Vidya Kshetra are to be absorbed, to be imbibed, and these features and values of Shri Vidya Kshetra are to be taught. This will take us to Chatushpit, formulation of transcendental code value 30, which is summation value of hypercube 8. And in dynamic state, this value is 43, will lead us to the split of the negative orientations, value minus 13 to minus 15 and minus 15, and 43 will constitute a reflection with 34, which is the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 9. So Chatushpit as 8 space Ashtaprakriti and 34 as 9 space now Brahm. So it is this transcendence from the ignorance of 8-fold nature to reach now Brahm is the attainment. This is to be learned. This is to be attained. This is to be imbibed. And this learning is to be taught. We have to get potentialized ourselves like that, and we have to teach it to our fellow beings. To transcend ignorance is to be learned. To transcend ignorance is to be taught. It is Shri Vidya. So beginning is to be from Chatushpit and reaches the eternity. To learn and to teach, to transcend ignorance is the command. It is this command which is to be imbibed. It is this command which is to be obeyed. And this will take us to the formulation Shri for its 10 folds. Sequentially, as is the tabulation, it was going to be 1, 1, 4, 20, 19. For the first 5 folds is value 45. The other 5 folds or of value 86, 60, 72, 140, 300, which makes 658. Total is going to be 703. So the Gita 700 is to take to origin at 703. So Gita enlightenment is to take us to Shri Vidya Kshetra. We have to learn it. We have to teach it. We have to transcend the ignorance. By transcending the ignorance, we have to enter a Shri Vidya Kshetra. And this Shri Vidya Kshetra is to be reached in terms of the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, a scripture of 700 shlokas. 700 as dimension fold will take us to 703 as the origin fold. And the summation value of all the four folds of 700, 701, 702, 703 is 2806. Sit comfortably and revisit the number 2806. It is 28 and 06. 28 is Braham, 06 is Chakra. So it is the Braham Chakra. Shri Vidya Kshetra being attained is the domain of eternal existence phenomenon. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity effort to be parallel with Vedic systems, to be parallel with the potentialities needed for real help to a fellow beings under the menace of blindness, shall sit comfortably and be parallel with these 10 internal folds of formulation Shri, which ultimately sequentially takes us to Brahma Chakra. 28 is the second perfect number, 06 is the first perfect number. It is the Vedic system. Vedic system is which takes us from first perfect number 6 to the second perfect number 28. It is a system which takes us from Surya to Brahma. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic system. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to potentialize themselves shall learn to transcend ignorance, and for it we have to be parallel with the 10 internal folds of the formulation Shri. Sit comfortably and be parallel with it. By being parallel with it, we will be entering the domain to be carried forward from Shri Vidya to soul sellable Om, to enter the domain from Shri Kshetra to Om Kshetra. We have to enter the Vedic domain. There are 4 Vedas. Rig Veda of Transcendental code value 27, which is parallel with the structural components of a cube. 8 corner points, 12 edges, 6 surfaces, and 1 volume. At next step, we have to enter the Yajur Veda. It is a cube with 3-dimensional frame, making structural components 31. At next step, we have to enter the Samved, which would mean that within creators of space, the solid dimensional order splits into northern hemisphere of value 17, center at 18, making it 35. And final step of Atharved is of transcendental code value 37, which means the placement value of the self-referral origin, 6-space origin of 5-space. It is full unit and half unit hypercubes 5. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems, and sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to transcend from mathematics to mathematics, science, and technology shall sequentially be parallel with the organization of Vedic knowledge as Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, and Atharveda. It will take us to Rig as value 5, Yajur as value 11, Sam as value 15, Athar as value 17. These are the transcendental code values. However, if we take the Vedic code values, the Rig is of value 1, Yajur is of 10, Sam is of 13, Athar is of 12. The transcendental code values together of all the four is 48, and Vedic code value for the four is 36. 36 takes us to Paranava Sarvadeshu, and 48 takes us to the transcendence within 6 space, to 4 space as dimension, to 2 space as dimension of a dimension. It is Rishi, it is seers. So sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts shall sequentially proceed further and be parallel with the organization of Vedic branches. Ved 20, Shakha 8, bear Braham, how the Vedic knowledge is having chase of the Brahman eternity values. Value 20 is a sequential 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Value 8 is a fine 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It is this which will help us appreciate that if we transcend from the manifested 1, 2, 3, 4 to transcendental 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then this becomes a 20 and 10. It is this reach from 20 and 8 to 20 and 10, which will take us from the solid boundary of 8 components to creative components 10 of the transcendental domain. One is to sequentially proceed ahead and be parallel with that Rig Veda has 21 branches, Yajur Veda has 101 branches, Sam Veda has 1000 branches, and this values 21, 101, and 1000 is having their unique reach as 10 plus 0, 1 plus 10. It is taking us to double digit numbers. It is taking us to reflection pairing. We have to learn it. And we have to learn it as to how the double digit numbers for the 100 place value with first triple digit number of its own transiting and transforming it into quadruple digit numbers is the phenomenon which is to be learned. It is by this learning that we will be potentializing ourselves to be parallel with the Vedic systems. We will learn how we have to take off from Shri Vidya Kshetra to the Vedic Kshetra. Likewise, we can revisit the formulation of Atharveda being of 9 branches of the organization 1 0 minus 0 1, 9 branches together with the branches of Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Samveda are 1131, and formulation 1131 is synthesis of pair of linear dimensions value 3 and 1 space as dimension 3 space. This is the organization. This is the synthetic organization of transcendence from linear order 3 space to spatial order 4 space to the creators of space. We have to learn it. We have to imbibe it. And it is by learning and imbibing these features, we will be potentializing ourselves. And it is only by potentializing ourselves like that, we will be in a position to render a real service to the fellow beings. This takes us to that Sakal Rigved Samhita is the source of scripture. And Sakal Rigved Samhita is organized as Samhita of 10 mandals 8 Astaks, 64 chapters, 85 Anvaks, 1020 Vargas, 2028, 1020 Suktas, 2028 Vargas, 10,552 Richas, 4,32,000 as Aksharas, of which 34,735 are unmanifest. The seed thoughts, the seed values, the foundational values are literally here in this scripture. This scripture is intact with us, and sadhakas fulfilled in the intensity of urge to be parallel with the Vedic systems have to begin with this scripture. We have to learn it and we have to teach it. It is by learning and teaching we can go step ahead to a Yajurveda, which is a scripture of 40 chapters, parallel with the 40 coordinates fixation of the transcendental domain. And the 40th chapter is Isha Upanishad. The Samved is a scripture which will help us be parallel with as to how to have a transition from Yajurveda to a Samved as Panchma Bhut, Prithvi, Apa, Agni, Vayu and Akash. In reverse orientation as Dhruv, Surya, Akash, Vayu and Agni. This is the phenomenon to be learned. And it is this twofold reach which is ultimately going to be the creations, transformations within Chatushpit as foundation of a Surya Rashmi. Surya Rashmi is having a Chatushpit foundation, and along this Chatushpit there is a flow of the transcendental content of a Divya Ganga Pravaha, which is manifesting as Sam, and there happens a phenomenon of transition and transformation from Sam to Som. This is to be learned. This is to be followed. And the organization of Sam is 6, 1 and 22. 22 as the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 6. 22 as the transcendental code value of Paschim. 22 as the transcendental code value of Sthapatya. And Purv of transcendental code value 21 and of Shivalya. This is to be learned. This is to be imbibed. And by it, we can reach Atharveda of transcendental code value 37, whose scripture is Mansar of 20 value 29. 37 is 18 plus 19 is the summation value of full and half unit hypercubes 5. 29 is 14 plus 15, parallel with the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 4 of full and half units. This is a reach from Shri Bhagavan to Brahma. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems have to learn and imbibe these values. And for imbibing it, we have to first enter the Shri Vidya Khet, and from there we will be entering the Ved through transcendental content flow from east to west. And going from east to west is Ekadike and Purve. It is a reach from 21 to 22. Likewise, we will be having transcendence from Uttar 16 to Dakshin 24, from Ishan Kon to the Agni Kon, from Vaive Kon to Nirtya Kon. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with as to how Ganita Sutra 1 rule, one more than before, is applying, while a reach from Purv to Paschim as 21 to 22, from Uttar to Dakshin from 16 to 24, that is 8 multiplied by 2 to 8 multiplied by 3, from Ishan Kon to the Agni Kon, that is from value 33 to 30, that is 3 multiplied by 11 to 3 multiplied by 10, and Vaive Kon to Nirtya Kon 34 to 42, 34 plus 8, 8 is Ek. Sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge be parallel with this organization, and one shall learn to transcend ignorance. And it is by transcending ignorance, one will be entering the Shri Vidya Kshetra. And from there will be a takeoff to the Vedic domain. And then again, we will be through the 10 steps. Now we shall be entering this real learning phase and stage. We will be daily learning one step for all these 10 phases of Om, Devnagri, Transcendental Code Value Dictionary, Vedic Ganita Sutras, Sthapatya, Vedic Mathematics, Science and Technology, Pursha format, Solar Universe format, Vedas and Braham. Daily we will be learning at least one value in all these 10 distinct phases of Shri Vidya Kshetra, from where we have to take to the soul syllable Om and Divya Ganga Parva through the artificial soul syllable Om, which will take us to eternity. Thank you very much.